Hi, I'm Cheryl Seaton, and I'm a certified Better Bones and Balance instructor. Welcome to our first online meeting. I'm using some notes for my presentation today, so you're likely to see my eyes looking down and then looking up. I hope it's not too distracting for you. So here we go. I'm here to tell you about the Better Bones and Balance exercise program and encourage you to join my classes. I'll share some history of Better Bones and Balance, talk about the basic equipment we can find around our homes, and demonstrate the 5 key exercises that can improve our daily lives. Better Bones and Balance is an exercise program developed by the Bone Research Laboratory at Oregon State University. It was developed as a way to manage the effects of aging on the bodies of older adults. The medical profession has long known that the natural aging process takes its toll on the bones and physical stamina of people over age 50. And while the miracles of modern medical science are helping people live longer, the consequences of aging are coming to the forefront. Bone researchers studied a skeletal disease called osteoporosis that affects every adult to some degree. Osteoporosis affects both men and women, but it has greater effects on women. Osteoporosis is characterized by changes in bone mass, meaning the density of the bones, and changes in the bone structure, meaning the material inside the bones. Over time, these changes in bone mass and structure result in weak and brittle bones susceptible to breaking. Concurrently, the natural aging process also affects people's capabilities, such as strength and balance. Most likely, we've all had that aha moment when we discovered that we just can't do the things we used to do when we were younger. Maybe we are not steady on our feet, and maybe we trip over things we don't see. When the progression of osteoporosis combines with the loss of strength and balance, falls become a primary health concern for people over the age of 65. Recent statistics show that 1 in 4 senior citizens has a serious fall every year. About 20%, or each year, about 20% of those falls result in broken bones, and 70% of the broken bones occur in the hip, the spine, the pelvis, and the wrist. The costs to society are over $17 million a year. More importantly, the personal consequences to the individual are significant. Loss of independence, reduced quality of life, and even death. When we really think about it, this is pretty scary stuff. Let's get back to those bone researchers at Oregon State University. Knowing that osteoporosis, falls, and broken bones are big life changers for older adults, those researchers set out to do something about it. After their research focused on identifying the types of physical activities that fight back against bone loss and falls. After 10 years of clinical trials and evidence gathering, they settled on 5 key weight-bearing, resistance, and impact exercises that form the basis of the Better Bones and Balance program. And then they train people like me to go out into the community and teach others the specific exercises that, if faithfully done, will improve muscle strength and balance and can slow or reverse the progression of osteoporosis. So I am an older adult, and I am a Better Bones and Balance certified instructor. My mission is to promote fitness and fun for myself and others as a way to manage the effects of aging and enhance the quality of our lives. So now let's talk about our space and equipment requirements for this class. I'm stepping back into my exercise space and I'll talk a little bit about it when I get there. First of all, I have an uncluttered floor space around me, and my space is large enough for me to move around in. I have about 9 feet in width and about 6 feet in depth. We also need to have our online device in front of us, probably placed on a table, hopefully at eye level and far enough away so that if we're moving around, we don't bump it. Finally, we need to wear comfortable clothing and very sturdy shoes. So in our space, we also need some equipment. So first of all, we need a sturdy chair. I'm using my desk chair, which is kind of a big sturdy chair. And we could also use a folding chair if that's what we had. But we just need it to be stable enough so that we can hold on to it for balance, put our weight on it if we need to, and it won't fall over. So that's the first thing we need. The second thing we need are some hand weights. So we can have commercially produced hand weights. We might have them at home, we might not. They work just fine. But if we don't have commercially purchased hand weights, there are other things that we can use from around the house. I went to my pantry and I found 3 things that I think would be suitable. First of all, I found some water bottles. Now these water bottles are 20 ounces each. They're very comfortable in my hands and they do a pretty good job of providing some resistance to my muscles if I'm working on strength moves. So water bottles, a good thing. I also found some food cans. Now the food cans, these are 15 ounces each, so they're not quite as heavy as the water bottles, and they're a little bit harder to hold on to, but still they can do the trick for our weight exercises. The best thing I found in my pantry were some plastic containers. These containers held powdered drink mixes, and so I removed the product from the containers and I looked around for something that was a little bit heavier to put inside, and I came up with some wrapped coins. So right now I have a bunch of quarters in here. They're quite hefty, and this produces a very good weight for weight training. So you could use dimes or nickels, or you could fill it with sand from the beach, whatever. I think these plastic containers are a good idea. So if you have some plastic jars or these kind of plastic containers, these particular ones are easy to hold on to. So I like these a lot. They're sort of flat rather than round. Okay, so we also need something to cushion our bodies when we go down to the floor. So usually that's an exercise mat. I use my yoga exercise mat. Notice though that it's pretty thin, and so it's okay for what I'm doing, because here in my exercise space, I have a carpet, and the carpet and the mat is enough cushioning for my body. If you're on a harder surface, you might want a thicker mat. So I have an example of a thicker mat. But again, we don't have to run out and buy a mat. We can use a bath towel. We can use an area rug. We could even use an air mattress. So some different choices for what you can use for going to the floor. We might need some pillows. There's a couple of reasons we might need pillows. One is for comfort, and the other is for elevating ourselves so that we don't have as much stress on our joints or muscles when we're doing a particular exercise. So I found 2 pillows in my home. One is just a bed pillow, and the other is a couch pillow, so they're a little bit different sizes. We want to have a washable cover on them, so I just put my pillowcases on them. The pillowcase wasn't exactly the right size to fit this couch pillow, so I just rolled it up and secured it with some safety pins, and now it's perfect. And I can take it off and wash it when it gets dirty. So that's the pillows. The one last thing that I am actually keeping handy, because I know that my house workspace is a lot warmer than our classroom space. I have decided I'm keeping a face towel near me so that I can wipe my brow when I get sweaty. All right, so that's it for equipment, and easy to find around the house. We don't have to go out and buy special equipment. We'll just use what we can find. So now let's move back into the exercise space, and I'll talk a little bit about the 5 key exercises of better bones and balance. So here I am in my exercise space, and I have my sturdy chair here next to me. One of the things that we always need to think about when we're doing better bones and balance is alignment of our bodies. And the best alignment for our bodies is a good posture. So we have spent a number of years of our lives on this earth with gravity pulling us down into the earth. And sometimes that makes our upper bodies lean forward, and even our neck and head lean forward. So we need to combat against that while we're exercising and making our bodies stronger. So we want to stand and do all of our exercises in a good posture. So let's work on a good posture right now. We want our feet a comfortable distance apart, our toes pointed straight ahead. We're going to sink down into our knees just a little bit and then move around on our feet so that we can feel 4 corners of our feet, and we want all 4 corners of those feet touching the earth. So once we feel that good solid foundation, 4 corners of the feet touching the earth, we're going to straighten our knees, just keeping a little bend, sort of a little relaxation in those knees. And feel the firm connection to the earth. From there, we want to align our knees with our ankles. So we're going to shift our weight just slightly back into our heels and get the knee joints directly over the ankle. Moving up to the hip, we want to slightly rotate the pelvis forward so that we bring the hip in the same line with the knee and ankles. And then moving up to the torso, we want to lift the chest, lift the shoulders, roll the shoulders back and down, keep the chest lifted, and create some space between our hip bones and rib cage, and space between our shoulders and our ears. Finally, we're tucking our chin back just slightly to bring our ears in line with our shoulders, and lifting up through the crown of the head, just like we had somebody pulling a string from the top of our head, like a puppet. So this is our good posture, everything in a line, just like kind of thinking about if we had a board up the back of our spine and we couldn't bend any other way except to stand up really tall and straight. So that's it. And now when we're standing up really tall and straight, we want to concentrate on our breathing. We always breathe just normally. We don't have to think about it too much. But when we're exercising, sometimes we have a tendency to stop and hold our breath. But we need to breathe because our muscles and our organs need that energy from the oxygen that comes into our bodies with our breath. So we want to think about easy, rhythmical breathing. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And we might notice that when we're inhaling and exhaling in good posture, it's pretty easy to breathe. All right. The next thing we'll do is coordinate our breathing with our movements. So let's do that right here, right now. We'll start a little warm-up process. So we're standing here in our good posture. We're looking straight ahead. We're breathing in and out nice and rhythmically. We're inhaling as we look straight ahead. As we exhale, we're going to turn our head and look to one side. Inhaling, coming back to the neutral position, and exhaling, turning to look to the other side. Inhaling to neutral, exhaling, turn to look to the first side. Inhaling to neutral, and turning to look to the other side. Inhaling back to neutral, and finishing that breath. Let's warm up our neck the other way, going up and down. So inhaling, looking forward in neutral. As we exhale, we'll lift our chin and let our eyes look at the sky. Inhaling back to neutral. We're exhaling, tucking our chin and looking at the earth. So inhaling to neutral, exhaling, looking to the sky. Inhaling to neutral, exhaling, looking at the earth. And inhaling back to neutral and finish that breath. And just be sure we're still standing in our good posture. Taking a few more nice rhythmic breaths, just concentrating, focusing, remembering how we breathe. Let's move on to some more warm-up exercises. So let's take our feet just a little bit wider apart to give us a more solid stance when we start moving our torso around. We're going to move our shoulders. We're inhaling, bringing one shoulder up and pushing the fingertips on the other side down toward the knee. And now as we exhale, we're going to bring this to the opposite side. Pull the other shoulder up, take the other fingers down. So inhaling to one side, exhaling to the other side. Moving with our breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. And let's bring that back to neutral. Good posture. Take a breath there. Bring our feet back together or closer together into our good posture position. Let's move to some warm-ups in our hip area. So we're going to sink down into our knees just slightly and begin moving our hips in a circle. We'll take them backward, sideways, forward, and sideways. Backward, sideways, forward, and sideways. One more, backward, sideways, forward, and sideways, and come back to our perfect posture position. What we do, go in one direction, we need to do the other direction just so we can make sure that both sides of our bodies are warmed up. So we're going to sink down into our knees again, take the hips back, and then go to the other side first, and forward, and side, and back, and side, and forward, and side. One more, back, and side, and forward, and side. Bring it back to neutral, back to our good posture position, and take some breaths. Moving to our knees and our feet, first we want to move a little closer to the chair so that we can put a hand on the chair for balance, just in case we need it. Coming back to that good posture, making sure we're in our good posture. Slightly bending the knees, relaxing into the knees, taking some breaths, nice even breathing. We'll begin by shifting our weight toward the chair where we're holding on, lifting the opposite heel off the floor and let our knee bend forward. And then lower that heel to the floor. Shift the weight to the other side, lift the other heel, bend the knee forward. This is kind of hard to see when I'm looking at you straight ahead. So maybe I'll turn to the side so you can see what this looks like. So I'm standing in good posture, I'm shifting my weight, bending the knee, picking up the heel. Putting that down, shifting the weight again, bending the knee, picking up the heel. So inhaling on one side, exhaling on the other side. All right, so a little bit of warm up for the knees. Now we've been standing in our nice posture for quite a while and standing on our legs. So let's shake that out a little bit, shake our muscles. Let the blood flow through our legs down to our feet. Makes them feel a little bit better. They've been working for us. Okay, So one more warm-up exercise. We want to warm up the hip joint just a little bit. We're going to come close to the chair so we can place our hand on the chair. Come back to our good posture. Feet well grounded. Knees over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders back and down and over the hips, and tucking the chin, bringing the ears over the shoulders. Breathing nice and easy in and out. We're shifting our weight toward the chair where we're holding on. We're going to lift that outside leg, the leg that's away from the chair, up, bringing the knee bent and about hip height. And then place that foot back on the floor. Shift the weight away from the chair, lift the other knee up, and place that foot back on the floor. So as we shift, we're inhaling, exhaling, we're lifting the knee. Inhaling as we shift, exhaling, lifting. Inhaling, shifting, exhaling, lifting. So we can feel a little warm up, a little stretch in our hip area now. One more time on each side. Lift and step and lift and step. Very good. Let's shake it out. All right, so we've done a little bit of warm up. We've talked about our breathing and our posture. Well, let's move into those 5 key exercises. So first, the first exercise is stepping. When we're in the classroom, we have some nice bench steps that are about 6-inch risers, and we can step up onto them and step back down, and it gives our legs a pretty good workout. Here in our home exercise space, we probably don't have a nice commercial step bench, so we're going to do stepping without a bench. So we'll do the movements with our feet that we would normally do up on top of the bench and down from the bench, but we just don't have a bench. But we're going to move close to the chair so we can keep our hand on the chair for balance. Come back to that good posture. Take a breath, and we'll start with the foot, the leg that's away from the chair, and moving like we have a step bench in front of us. We'll take a step forward and bring the other foot forward, and then take the first foot back and the other foot back. So it's a basic step: forward, forward, back, and back. Forward and forward, back and back. And of course, what we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. So we'll lead off with the foot that's now closest to the chair, stepping forward and forward and back and back and forward and forward and back and back. One more basic step and back. Good. All right, so that's stepping. And we'll do various forms of stepping. And we'll just do them without a bench step. So the second basic exercise is called chair raises. I'm going to move my chair a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. And for chair raises, if we're raising out of the chair, we have to sit in the chair. So we're sitting in the chair. And when we do exercise from sitting in the chair, we're sitting forward in the chair about halfway up. There's space behind the back of the chair and our torso, and we have our feet out in front of the chair, a comfortable distance apart, and our toes pointed straight ahead, and a 90-degree angle or something close to it right here in the bend of our legs. So my feet are about a foot away from the leg of the chair, and that provides a good base for me to stand up and have a solid foundation with solid connection with the earth. So chair raises, here we go. We inhale here, sitting in the chair nice and neutral. We exhale, leaning forward, reaching our hands forward, picking our weight up off the chair and standing up. And then inhale, we're sitting back down. Exhale, we're leaning and lifting and sitting back down. And exhaling up and inhaling down. So that's a chair raise. We have to finish both pieces of it, coming up and coming down. So the third exercise is called lunges. And we do both forward and side lunges. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to move my chair back to its original position. And now I can use it to hold on to do my lunges. So now I'm going to stand parallel to the chair, put my hand on the chair, come back to that good posture. So I'm kind of facing the diagonal right now. You can face right toward me if you want, but we need some little logistics here. So when we're doing our lunges, we're going to step toward each other and come back to the chair. Or we're stepping away from each other and come back to the chair. So for these forward lunges, we're going to step toward each other. That'll really help us to be able to keep moving in the same direction. So first of all, let's move just a little closer to the chair so that we have a good connection with our hand to the chair. And then we have our good posture going on. Our eyes are straight ahead. We're going to shift our weight to the foot that's closest to the chair. We're going to use the outside leg again. Lift the knee up. We did that before. We're going to take a nice, great big step out to the front. So a big, wide stance. When I equalize my weight between both feet, the heel in the back comes up off the floor. Now for the lunge part, we just bend the knees, but we keep the weight right in the center, keep the chest lifted, and just bend easily down. To come out of this, this is the harder part, we have to push off the front leg and bring that foot back to standing good posture. So we lift the knee up, step out and over a curve, lower down, and push it back. So lift the knee up, step out and over, and push it back. Good. Let's try the other side. So still staying in the same position, or you could turn around and face the other way, put the other hand on the chair. I'm going to face forward so that you can see what I'm doing on the other side. So now I'm taking my weight on the foot that's away from the chair, using the leg that's closest to the chair for the lift, extend, come to the wide stance, heel lifts in the back. You can't see that, can you? Heel lifts in the back. And then we go straight down to the floor, push off to come back. So inhaling as we step out and down, exhaling as we push off to come back. Inhaling out and down, exhaling, push off to come back. So that's forward lunges. Let's shake that out a little bit. It's a lot of work for the legs. So let's turn and face toward the chair now, and we'll move into some side lunges. When we go to side lunges, we have a little bit more of an off-balance feeling. So it's a good idea to keep hold of this chair. Keep your hands on the chair, just to avoid any problems with falling. So we start with our good posture always. Come into that good posture. On a side lunge, it's very similar to the forward lunge, except it's moving to the side. What can I say? All right, so we're shifting our weight to the foot that's behind us, and then I'm stepping the leg that's toward you. I'm stepping toward you, bending the knee, pushing my hips back and down. The purpose of that is to get the weight into the heel and to locate the knee over the ankle. And then to come back, we're pushing off of that foot and bringing that foot back. So it lifts up, steps out to a wide stance. Toes are pointing straight ahead here. The hip goes back and down, the knee bends. We take all of our weight over under that foot, and then we push it off. So lift it up, step it out, weight goes over, hip goes back and down, we push off, come back. All right, so that's one side. We always have to do both sides. So standing nice and tall in our good posture, we're taking the other leg now. Let's shift our weight, and then I'm stepping away from you, back to that hip back and down, and then feet together. So lift the knee, step out to that wide stance, toes pointed straight ahead, hip goes back and down, we push off to come back. One more time. Inhaling as we step out, push the hip back and down, exhaling on the big push off. And take a breath, shake out those legs. That's lunges. The fourth exercise, heel raises. These are a lot easier than lunges. So we're still facing toward the chair, coming back to that good posture. We have a good connection through our feet to the earth, and our toes are pointed straight ahead. We're breathing. So heel raise is exactly what it says. We're going to raise our heels off the floor and come to standing on the balls of the foot. So nice posture. Inhale with the heels on the floor. Exhale, lift both heels off the floor, push through the balls of the feet and come up to the balance point and then lower back down. So inhale with the heels on the floor. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, lowering. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, lowering. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, lowering. Exhale, lifting. So big work for the legs. We can feel the muscles working. Let's shake them out again. See if we can get them to relax a little bit. And move into the fifth and final of the basic exercises. It's stomps. So stomps, just like what it sounds. Just like if we're throwing a temper tantrum or mad at something, and we're just going to stomp on the floor. So that's exactly what it is, just a stomp on the floor. So standing nice and tall in our good posture, we can hold on for balance if we need to. Kind of relax our knees just slightly, shift our weight to one foot, pick up the other foot, and bring it down with some force on the floor. Flat foot on the floor. Pick it up and stomp, and stomp, and stomp, and stomp. And bring it back to standing nice and tall, good posture. Now, I forgot to mention that there are some reasons not to do stomps, so we better talk about that right now before we move to the other side. So there's a couple reasons not to do stomps. The first reason is if it causes any pain in your joints, your hip joint, your knee joint, your ankle joint, or your feet. Pain there, not good. So if we cause pain when we're stomping, then we don't want to stomp. The other reason is the most important, I think, and that is if you have osteoporosis already, you have had a bone scan and a diagnosis of osteoporosis, no stomping for you. It's because we don't want to cause any greater injuries to the spine or the hip. And so we don't do those stomps until we can strengthen our bones enough to move away from osteoporosis. And that most likely will happen over time. So there are two stages of osteoporosis, actually. There's a stage called osteopenia, which is sort of the entering into osteoporosis stage. And it's okay to do stomps if we have a diagnosis of osteopenia, because we're going to make our bones stronger and hopefully back out of that diagnosis. Not okay if we're in the second stage, which is full osteoporosis. So we have to make that personal judgment for ourselves. Do we do stomps or don't we do stomps? If we don't do stomps, then we can just sort of march, or we can choose some other exercise, maybe our favorite exercise, and do it while the rest of us are doing stomps. Okay, so speaking of that, let's make sure that we're balanced on both sides, so let's do our stomps on the other side. So we're coming back to that good posture, hand on the chair, we're sinking into the knees slightly, shifting the weight to the foot that's going to hold our weight, and then lifting the other foot up and coming down like we're angry at something, having a temper tantrum. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. One more time. And then bring ourselves back to good posture. So take a couple of breaths. We've kind of worked our bodies a little bit. And now we know what the 5 key exercises are. So when we come to exercise class, we are going to do these 5 key exercises, and we'll do them with several repetitions. So each exercise will have its own repetitions, and then the 5 together are called a circuit, and we do the circuit for a number of repetitions. So you can better believe that during class you'll get a good workout going through those. And then I throw in some other things too, and at the end of class, we're always grateful to do our cool down, either sitting on the chair or going down to the floor. So we'll find that out, a lot more about that next week when we start our classes. So right now, we need to take care of a couple of uh, administrative things to stop our meeting. I want to thank you for coming to this meeting today, and I hope you're very excited about coming to class. I know that I'm excited about getting classes started. It's been quite a break waiting for the college to give us the go-ahead to return to classes. And of course, we're returning online and not in our classroom. So we'll meet here online again next week for 2 times, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun together. So in order to end our meeting, we need to figure out how to do that. So at the bottom of the screen, there should be a toolbar. If there's not a toolbar, move your cursor slightly and you'll find the toolbar. And if you move your cursor into the toolbar, hopefully it'll stay with us. So if we look over to the right-hand corner, we see some red lettering and the words "end meeting." So we need to click right there to end our meeting. But after that, there's also another end dialog box of some sort. And then finally, you need to go to the home screen of Zoom and sign out. And the sign out is located in the upper right-hand corner. So end meeting down in the lower right-hand corner, and then another dialog box that we get out of, and that we hit a button that says end, and then going back to the home screen, signing out by clicking on the upper right-hand corner and seeing the menu that drops down, and one of the choices will be sign out. Okay, so until we meet next week, be happy, be well, have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Looking forward to it. Time to end our meeting.